Welcome to China Gateway 360, connecting global businesses with China through insights, opportunities, and trends. Today, we're diving straight into the China Advertising Compliance Risk Calculator. Specifically, we're looking at the 100-point diagnostic framework. You can think of this as a highly practical stress test for your marketing. It scores your campaign across 7 distinct dimensions, allowing you to spot regulatory red flags and avoid those incredibly costly launch failures well before your creative ever touches the Chinese market.
Now, the really good news here is that regulatory risk in China isn't some unsolvable mystery. It's actually entirely quantifiable. Based on historical enforcement data from the State Administration for Market Regulation, we know exactly how campaign risk is distributed across these 7 specific dimensions. But I really want you to focus on the weight distribution here. Look at this. Nearly 50% of your baseline risk is driven by just 2 factors, your product category and your claim type. So what does this actually mean for your strategy? Well, it means half of your regulatory exposure is locked in before a single piece of creative is even designed. Getting a handle on this up front is going to save you a ton of time and resources.
Let's take a closer look at those 2 heavyweights. First up, we have the product category risk escalation ladder. Regulated categories carry a substantially higher baseline risk, and that's true regardless of how safe your creative execution actually is. Unregulated consumer goods, think everyday clothing, they start out comfortably at 0 points. But restricted goods like health foods or special use cosmetics, those instantly slap a 20-point burden onto your baseline. Then we have claim type risk. The critical takeaway here is that unsubstantiated comparative or superlative claims are going to trigger immediate algorithmic flags across major Chinese platforms. So claiming to be #1 in China without the official certification to back it up, that is an automatic 20-point penalty right out of the gate.
China Gateway. Gateway.
Your gateway to business in China.
To see how this theory plays out in the real world, let's contrast 3 different campaign scenarios on this diagnostic matrix. Take a look at the sportswear column first. With an unregulated product, just some basic brand awareness claims, and a narrow audience, it scores an 8. It's sitting firmly in the low-risk tier, meaning a smooth launch is highly likely. But now compare that to the health supplement scenario over on the far right. Between being an uncertified health food, making unsubstantiated functional claims, and blasting across multiple platforms with key opinion leaders, the risk compounds dramatically. It actually hits a maximum score of 100. And a score that high isn't just a mild warning, it literally requires a complete strategy pivot to avoid some pretty severe penalties.
But hey, a high score doesn't mean your campaign is completely grounded. Compliance is actually a highly adjustable strategic lever. As a brand, you can actively de-risk a high score just by pulling back on specific variables, all without having to abandon your launch. For example, if you drop the before and after imagery from a beauty campaign and swap it out for lifestyle imagery, you instantly reduce your score by 8 points. Or, by removing those dangerous superlative claims and replacing them with verified factual capabilities, you can drop your score by up to 20 points. You're effectively just negotiating your risk level right back down into a safe zone.
The core takeaway here is that adjusting your channel, creative, and claim variables can successfully rescue a non-compliant campaign without sacrificing your product launch. It's really all about managing your exposure strategically well before the algorithms step in and do it for you. So, ask yourself, are you assessing your campaign's risk before you design, or after it's already too late? That's all for this China Gateway 360. Like and comment to receive materials from us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.